Welcome to another episode of Markets Dawn Europe, an audio podcast on financial markets for European-based professionals. A minimalistic solution to the information overload in mainstream and social media. This is what you need to know today.
Morning. Yesterday's key market update was the steep fall in UK inflation, with headline CPI slowing to 1.7% and core CPI at 3.2%, surprising analysts. Inflation was the lowest since April 2021 and below the central bank's target rate. The RPI measure was also below estimates and lower than a month earlier at 2.7%. Also, services inflation, closely watched by policymakers, plunged to its lowest since May 2022, at 4.9%, significantly below August's 5.6%. The main catalysts for the disinflation trend were lower petrol prices and airfares. The news raised traders' bets on a 25 basis point rate cut by the Bank of England at the November 7 meeting to an 87% probability. The update led to a depreciation of sterling against the dollar and the euro, with cable trading below 130 for the first time in 2 months. Gilt yields fell by 10 basis across tenors, with 10-year yields back at almost 4%, while the FTSE 100 was the best performing benchmark in Europe, up by 1%. In earnings announcements, Morgan Stanley's results exceeded estimates on the back of strong deal-making, and shares jumped 6.5% to a record high. Investment banking revenues rose by 56% in Q3, better than at Goldman and JP Morgan. In monetary policy decisions on Wednesday, Indonesia left rates steady at 6%, the Philippines cut by 25 basis to 6% as expected, and Thailand surprised with a 25 basis cut to 2.25%. In DCM, British business support company Informa placed 6 and 10-year senior bonds in euros, rated BBB. In deals, media reports suggest that private equity firm Advent is preparing a takeover of British food processor Tate & Lyle. Shares jumped 8%. In IPOs, Hong Kong is seeing signs of increased activity, with 2 large deals, Horizon Robotics and China Resources Beverage, aiming to raise nearly $700 million each. Headlines: The US military strikes terrorist group Houthi in Yemen. Elon Musk donated $75 million to Trump's presidential campaign. Mega-cap technology companies consider nuclear as an energy source to power data centers and AI infrastructure. Amazon invested in X Energy, a US private company, developing small nuclear reactors. Asian markets are mostly firmer today, with stocks in Hong Kong taking the lead, while US futures are weaker overnight. The ECB meets today, with the announcement expected at 2:15 Frankfurt time, and a 25 basis point rate cut is expected by analysts and fully priced by markets, to a deposit rate of 3.25% and a refi rate of 3.40%. Turkey's and Chile's central banks also meet today. In economics, we'll get the final inflation reading in the Eurozone. Retail sales, industrial production and jobless claims in the US, and inflation in Austria. On the earnings front, we'll hear from TSMC, Nestlé, ABB, Nordea, Netflix, Blackstone and Travelers. Thanks for your time, see you tomorrow.
Visit laconicbriefs.com to subscribe to our newsletter, including this audio podcast with an extended script if you prefer to read, plus performance tables and charts, all in one place. Delivered straight to your inbox every morning, Monday to Friday.